Very good. Well, let's talk about what's going on in your world.
Yes.
And now that you're a UFC fighter and all that good stuff, of course, you're coming off the loss to Anthony Pettis, which has, got the fight has got a lot of notoriety. This was a back and forth battle for 5 rounds. A very, in my opinion, a fitting way for the WEC to have their last show with a incredible fight like that. Now that you've had some time to think back at that fight, give us your thoughts.
I just thought it was a good fight. I think first off, I always want to take my hats off to Anthony Pettis. Man, he did a good job. He had a great fight. Judges gave him the decision, got his hand raised. Anytime you get your hand raised, I'll take it any way I can get it. So he did a great job. I think from my perspective, from my point of view, looking back on it, I went away from my game plan a little bit too much. I had a little bit too much of the UFC hoopla and the media attention play a part of that. I wanted to show Frankie, I wanted to show Gray that I could stay standing with a kickboxer, no less. So somebody who's made his mark in MMA as a kickboxer, who's his forte, stand up. I wanted to show I can stand up 5 rounds with him and I can win. I can kick his butt. But he got his hand raised, and I went away from my game plan. It's just a lesson learned. You gotta take the good with the bad with the good. It was his night that night.
Yeah, without
I would love to do it again though. Just saying.
Good point. I think fight fans would love to see you two do it again. Of course, the highlight that everyone's showing happens to be the kick. Tell us about that. Of course, you would like to be the one delivering that blow,
Yeah.
but what's leading up to that? What happened?
He just did a good job. I had, who would have expected? No one expected it. I had no idea. He was coming at me. I was like, oh, he's just running. He's gonna jump and do something. So I put my hands down. I backed away a little bit. I was like, I didn't know he's gonna jump off the cage and go an extra 3 feet and kick me in my head. If I would have known that, maybe would have had my hands up or something like that. But no, great move by Pettis. Great move. I know a lot of people the next day were, working on that already, working on stuff off the cage and trying to invent new things like he did. Great move, great stuff on his part. Going through it, I don't really remember too much. I was just trying to survive. I was like, oh, sure. I got like, I think it was like 30 seconds left in the round, 30 seconds left in the fight. He landed a big kick. I was like, well, if I can take him down, if I can finish his takedown and then finish on top and get some, like maybe 10, 15 seconds of ground and pound in, maybe that'll equal out the kick, because I knew it was a pretty big kick and whatnot. But, he got it. He did a good job.
Yeah.
Times looked like he got me with a little bit of his foot.
Yeah.
If he would have landed that on chin,
good Lord.
that would have been a good night at Irene.
Yeah, no
I'd have been
shit.
done.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Back at speed.
Okay, very good. Well, the good, you look at it and you got to take the good with the bad, like you
Yes.
said. I mean, one aspect, Ben, the good news is, that highlight and that fight got a lot of attention. I mean,
Yep.
it made ESPN's top 10 plays of the entire year.
Yeah.
Of course, on the bad side, you would have been, wanting to be the one to
Yeah.
deliver that. Has it been tough to deal with all the reaction to this?
Not really. I'm pretty, laid back, chill, low key type of guy. So it's not really too much for me. I'm not too worried about whatever. I come to the realization, St. Pierre versus Matt Serra. That's going to be a highlight reel for a long time. Anderson Silva versus Rio Chonin. He got flying scissor heel hooked. Like that doesn't happen too often either. Fedor Emelianenko, like everyone, at some point in time, you're going to be on the opposite end, on the bad end of a highlight reel. It was my turn, my time to be on the bad end of a highlight reel. So, good job to Pettis, but I definitely plan on being on the good side of a highlight reel for many more years to come. I'm not going to let that moment define my career. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I got head kicked off the cage and, oh, man, I'm done fighting now and I retired and that's what everyone's going to know me for the rest of my life. No, that's not it. They're going to know me for having the UFC belt for longer than anyone's ever had it before.
Fantastic answer. Absolutely. I mean, you held the WEC belt for a long time, and now that you've joined the UFC, it's time to look ahead and let's speak about your future. Do you have an opponent, and give us some details about your next fight?
Yep. The next guy I have is Mark Bocek. He's a Canadian Good fighter. Fighting on that UFC 129 up in Toronto, Canada. Sold 55,000 tickets for that. So it's going to be a very exciting fight for me to be a part of. Just a big honor for me to be a part of it. It's going to set all sorts of records. The live gate, the money, like all that sort of stuff is going to break all sorts of records. It's going to be crazy. Double the UFC record now. I'm really looking forward to it. Bocek's a tough fighter. He brings a solid game plan to all his fights. He's tough as heck. He got hit in his face a lot in a lot of his fights. He gets hit a lot. But he just keeps on going forward, and he instills his will. So
yeah,
looking forward to that matchup.
Well, everyone is. Great matchup. Do you feel when you're going up against a guy like that, he's almost like a zombie. He just keeps coming and just keeps coming. Does his style match up well for you?
I think it does. Of course I'm a little bit biased, obviously, but I think the matchup is incredibly good for me. Guys that tend to take a lot of punishment, and they can take it, and they do take it, and they keep going forward, and they instill their will. That's good. That's good for me. He's going to take a lot of punishment. He can take a lot. He is going to take a lot. So that's fine by me. As much as you want to get hit in the face, I will certainly oblige you.
Nice. So not only do you make your UFC debut, but you do so, as you said, in front of a record crowd in Toronto. Ben, what do you think is going to be going through your head, and what will you feel emotionally as you walk up to the octagon?
I think I'll just be ready to go. For most of my fights, all my fights, I'm really just ready to go. For this one particularly, coming off a loss, I don't like losing. It doesn't happen very often. I'm excited to get back in the cage and get a W under my name, not be on a loss. So I'm excited. I'm raring to go. I wish it could be tomorrow. It's going to be a fun night that night.
Cool. Final question: what should fight fans expect when you two get into the octagon?
My hand raised. I will do whatever it takes to get my hand raised. If I got to jump off a fence, do a backflip and whatever, I'm not gonna let this time the other guy dictate what he does to get his hand raised. I'm gonna do. It comes down to the last few seconds, whatever. I'm gonna do something to get my hand raised, and believe that.
Awesome.
Check out entire fighter interviews and exclusive unaired footage at www.hd.net in the blog section. Don't miss the hottest mixed martial arts show on TV, Inside MMA, every Friday night, only on HDNet.
Don't miss Inside MMA and HDNet fights every Friday night, only on HDNet. Call your cable or satellite provider today and demand HDNet. For more info, go to hdnetfights.com.